Welcome to the Finance Report. I'm Mallory Hoff alongside David Wilkinson. Ahead, we'll talk about expectations versus reality in your retirement years and how things could potentially veer off course quickly, even if your nest egg is far from small.
We'll also discuss taxes, stock market risk, and the cost of living a multi-decade retirement, then a game plan for your retirement. All that and more ahead.
This is the Finance Report with Mike Riedmiller, a financial professional and the president of Riedmiller Wealth Management, a financial firm serving Nebraska retirees. Mike is also the popular radio and podcast show host of Smart Retirement Strategies. And now it's time for the Finance Report.
You've worked hard and you've saved like your life depends on it, but now retirement is right around the corner and perhaps you can't shake that feeling that financial stress may be on the horizon. I think the goal for a lot of people in this country is to be able to maintain their quality of life in retirement, but you look around and there are so many threats to what should be golden years.
Yeah, threats. And when I think of threats to one's retirement, Mike, the first one that comes to my mind, perhaps the largest, is going to be taxes.
Absolutely. Taxes could be one of the biggest expenses that people have in retirement, costing them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in the coming years or decades, depending on the size of their portfolio.
So why then, Mike, are tax strategies so frequently overlooked in this country?
I think people are trying to minimize taxes every year. Their accountant or CPA says, here's some ways to save money. They max out their IRA or their 401k, not realizing that they're literally kicking the can down the road and deferring those future taxes. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't have a tax strategy.
I think that's what confuses me for people. You've worked so hard, you've accumulated a great amount of wealth, but it sounds to me like you have the wrong team on your side. You're talking about kicking the can down the road. CPAs are not retirement planners. They are not people that have tax strategies. They are not looking forward. They are looking for what the year was. Why are so many people putting themselves in a position where they're not working with the right people?
Well, I think a lot of people, they're working through the week, through the month, just getting through that month, paying the bills. They've got kids and then grandkids and planning for vacation. And with tax strategies, it's very important, but it's not urgent. So I think that's one reason. So people get to those retirement years, those golden years, and it's something that they've neglected, but maybe nobody's ever brought it to their attention. I think of a lady that was in my office in the past, and she said every year her accountant would call and say, hey, here's a way that you can lower or reduce your taxes. We're gonna max out that IRA. And she got the tax savings every year. Her comment to me was, looking back, I don't think that was in my best interest now. I wish I would have been more proactive. I wish I would have heard about some of this stuff. I wish I would have done some Roth conversions or Roth contributions.
Painful conversation to have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about other threats. Let's go there with the market for a moment. The market's up, the market's down. Obviously, we are in this volatile stretch. It is very uncomfortable for a lot of people right now. How do you know, Mike, if you're taking on the appropriate amount of risk for your personal situation?
Yeah, with that, it's going to be different and personal for everyone because everybody's situation is unique. So for people in and around Omaha, I always like to know, and it starts with that casual conversation. Are they married or single, working or retired? What are some of their biggest goals or concerns? And then from there, it leads to a deeper conversation about how they're invested. A lot of times, unfortunately, people not aware of all the risks that they really have in their portfolio.
Yeah.
Being unaware of things, how about income planning? How often are retirees, people that are coming into your office, unaware that they can have income strategies in place so that they don't have to pick away at that pile of money?
Income planning is very important in retirement because you walk out the door for the last day, you retire, but the bills keep coming in. So in a lot of places, you don't get the gold watch, you don't get the retirement party, you don't get the pension. At least you used to get that.
Yeah.
Now you don't. It's just, hey, nice knowing you, see you later, you're on your own. But in retirement, the more income than expenses, the better. That's pretty profound,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Pretty
I
profound.
like it.
Most certainly.
Absolutely. But with that, the more income sources
Yeah.
also. So we look at Social Security. There's a lot of questions what the future of that looks like. Some people are fortunate enough to have pensions, but fewer than before. And then what are some other income sources? Maybe dividend-paying stocks, required minimum distributions. Some people might have rental property or farmland here throughout the state of Nebraska or Iowa. Some people use certain types of annuities. But the point is having that plan in place, because again, the bills keep coming in after you're retired, and there's something called inflation. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, inflation, we've all seen that. We've got to factor that in. So we've got to have an inflation adjusted income plan. Most people don't.
So, big picture right now, this could be considered an uncomfortable or complicated time to be in retirement or getting close to retirement. What questions are you hearing more frequently in your office?
A lot of people wondering, okay, where's the market headed next? And that's really the wrong question. It's how is your portfolio prepared for regardless of which way the market could be headed? As you think about, we had COVID back in 2020, in 2022, we had stock market was down around 20%, bond market was down around 10%. Now, in this period of time, we have something called tariffs that some people are aware of. We want to have a tariff-proof retirement plan. How's that? I just came up with it. You like that?
That was really good. Right
I haven't heard that anywhere else. Maybe I'll trademark that.
Trademark it right now.
A tariff-proof retirement plan. So here's the thing to really think about. What could be coming in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because again, COVID came up and tariffs and all this. There's going to be a number of issues in the next 5, 10, 20 years. So if somebody's watching us right now and they're in their 60s, they've got to be ready for 10, 20, 30, 40 years and beyond. And who knows, with longevity and artificial intelligence, some people watching might live to be over 100 years old.
Mike is going to trademark that, but in the meantime, you heard it here first. The time to act is now.
Absolutely. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and then discuss your next steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. Again, that's 402-791-6177. If the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. We all know the quote, and yet when it comes to planning for retirement, taxes often end up on the back burner. So, Mike, it's one thing to see the writing on the wall. It's another thing to read it.
Absolutely. Taxes can be one of the biggest expenses that people have in retirement. Unfortunately, it's not a priority for a lot of people. They do not make it a priority during their working years.
Let me ask you this then. If the goal is, like it is for so many of us, to leave a legacy, what penalties should we all be aware of?
Well, if that IRA or 401k goes to your beneficiaries, especially your children or grandchildren, they're going to owe taxes on withdrawals from there. There's something known as the 10-year stretch.
Sure.
So you've got to take the money out or withdraw it in a 10-year period of time as a beneficiary. Again, children or grandchildren, they could owe major taxes on your portfolio and nest egg.
Mike, the tax code in this country is so incredibly complex. How can we stay up to date?
Well, Mallory, a lot of people are not able to stay up to date for a simple reason. There's so many new taxes and changes coming from a federal level and even statewide level throughout the year, almost on a monthly basis. And that's where I work with a team of people to stay up to date with this so we can incorporate this into any kind of investment planning, income planning, and also always looking at tax strategies.
What can happen if you say, okay, all of this is well and good, I know I need to address it eventually, but you just wait too long? What can go wrong?
Well, there's a lot that can go wrong because people, they're working, they're trying to get through the week, through the month, they're paying the bills, they got the kids and grandkids, and just with tax planning and tax strategies, it's important, but a lot of people don't feel like it's urgent, and they might go decades without really thinking about it.
Mike, always a pleasure, a wonderful conversation as always. Thank you so much. And coming up on the Finance Report, we'll head to the football field and we'll talk about your game plan for retirement, how defensive holding and pass interference may apply to your savings. But first, David will put Mike on the clock. And now, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. Once again, that number, 402-791-6177. If the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and your number, and the team will call you back.
We've got counter punches, we've got speed. It's all coming to you in 15 and 15. 15 topics in 15 seconds for you, my friend. Here we go. Question number 1. Warren Buffett credits his success to, and I quote, a dozen truly good decisions, which means it's not about getting everyone right, it's about getting the important ones right. So Mike Riedmiller, what are some of those for retirement?
For retirement, coming up on retirement, or especially already retired, want to make sure you have that plan in place, from income planning, investment planning, also looking at tax strategies.
It's very refreshing to know you only got to get a dozen, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
A dozen's not too many. Question number 2, a survey of investors across the globe say you need between $3 to $5 million to retire comfortably. Not a very small amount. Your reaction when you hear those type of numbers?
David, a lot of my clients right here in Omaha or throughout Nebraska or Iowa, they're not looking to buy a yacht. They're not looking for a Ferrari. They're not trying to buy a second home in France. Seriously, you can have a confident and comfortable retirement with less than that, but it really comes down to planning. Want to make sure you have more income than expenses and have the right diversification for your situation.
And what I love about what you say is you need to have a tailor-made plan. None of this cookie-cutter approach, which I personally believe $3 to $5 million, that falls under. Question number 3, intelligence, always a welcome trait, but when it comes to taxes, what can help people have a tax-efficient retirement?
Well, planning in advance with that and utilizing tax strategies. A lot of times people don't think about that during their working years, and then they come up on retirement or especially required minimum distribution age, which right now is 73, and they're thinking, oh boy, now I've got to deal with that. Well, we want to think about that prior, so have that conversation sooner rather than later.
Sidebar, what could tax strategies potentially save someone in retirement?
Potentially tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars over the course of years and decades.
Sir, that is an attention getter right there. Question number 4, for the person that is leaving a job or thinking about it and wants to cash out their 401k as they exit, is that a wise move?
Probably not.
Probably not.
You cash that out, you're going to owe Uncle Sam their share. So when you exit a job, it can be beneficial to look at what would a rollover or direct transfer to an IRA be, because that'd be a non-taxable event at that time. Once you're into the IRA, it could open up more potential investment options, maybe more tailored to your situation.
We love options, don't we? Options are good, and Uncle Sam coming for maybe extra of our money, not an option we care to go down. Question number 5, let's do some market talk. Curious, your thoughts on this statement. Past performance is no guarantee of future success, but history seems to be.
Yeah, history does not necessarily repeat, but many times will rhyme. So let's look back, 2000, 2001, and 2, we had 3 consecutive years the market was down, worked its way back up. 2008, we had the housing crisis. The market was down maybe around 40% and had a lot of robust years then. Then 2022, the stock market was down around 20%, bond market around 10%, and now we're seeing a lot of volatility. So you've got to get it right when it comes down to that planning process, because we don't know where the market's headed. Nobody does. So that's something where you want to have layers and levels of protection built in based on your situation.
I love that answer right there. Look at you with all the stats, the numbers. You got them all in there,
got 'em right
don't you?
here.
You
They're
got
all
them right
right
up
there.
there. Question number 6, playing the stock market can be beneficial, but have there been people who learned their lesson the hard way?
Unfortunately, yes. Because there's something called sequence of returns. In the early years of retirement, if there's a number of down years or even one year that's way down and you're withdrawing from that, that could have a detrimental impact, because if the market's down and you're taking withdrawal, that's like a double downturn. Something to be avoided, especially in retirement.
Can I go sidebar and put you on the spot right here? Say you haven't accounted for sequence risk. What kind of numbers have you seen that impact?
It hasn't been pretty, because if you think about 2008, the market was down 40%, and then if you're withdrawing money or you have a big purchase, you might take your account down by over half.
Wow.
And then some people, then they get fearful, and then they withdraw or pull more of their money out, or maybe pull back and get defensive, and then the market shoots back up. Something profound, David, you want to buy low and sell high. Unfortunately, people do it the opposite way sometimes.
But what I love that you're bringing in this entire episode, a lot of profound statements right now.
Yeah.
It's really good. Mike Riedmiller, he's dialed in. Question number 7, great news. We are living longer than ever before, Mike, but how often is longevity missing when it comes to how it will impact you and your retirement?
I see it often. I talk about income planning, and you really want an income plan with inflation factored in. Because, David, I think prices might be increasing in the future. Are you on board with that?
I think I'm on board with that.
Yeah, we've got to think about that with longevity, because artificial intelligence, all these medical advances, technological advances, just think in the next 5, 10, 20 years what that could look like. So if somebody's watching us on TV, they're in their 50s or 60s, well, by the time they get to be their 80s, 80 might be the new 30. How's that? 80 could be the new 30 in years down the road, so people better be ready. We've got to have that plan right.
As the great musician and a poet said, the times, they are a-changin'. Mike Riedmiller, great information. Solid start to 15 and 15, more to come. But today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary, full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your next steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, it's 402-791-6177. That's 402-791-6177. If the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back. Fire that clock back up. Question number 8. I'm not going to say names here, Mike, but we've seen companies with billions of dollars in annual sales unfortunately fold. How can the same thing happen to someone who's saved great wealth for their retirement?
If they've got too much risk in their investment, especially with all this volatility we're seeing, if expenses are more than income, also future taxes. So there's a lot of different risks people need to be aware of.
Yeah, you want to have the right strategies. Question number 9, for those that aren't planning to have Social Security in the event it does get cut later, what can be done right now to help fill that income gap?
Well, with that, the more sources of income in retirement, the better. So Social Security, a lot of questions. If you're fortunate enough to have a pension, we'll look at that. Required minimum distributions, dividend-paying stocks. You know, we're here in Omaha and throughout Nebraska and Iowa, farmland or rental property. Some people might use certain types of annuities, but the point is multiple sources of income adjusted for inflation in the future, exceeding expenses.
Question number 10, as we've discussed, having the proper asset allocation and diversifying your portfolio. What exactly do those terms mean?
Long story short, trying to get the best potential returns with the least amount of risk as far as that goes. So yeah, not too hot, not too cold, right? Kind of in the middle as far as that goes. Because in retirement, we want our assets to grow, but we don't want it all at risk. Because see, Wall Street's got a plan for our money. It might not be the best plan. Look, when we're in our 20s, 30s, or 40s, let it ride. It's all about accumulation. But when you come up in retirement or already retired, you better not be invested how you were in your earlier years, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Question number 11, rules are constantly changing, and the rules to retirement, they're no different. How can people make sure their advisor is keeping up with all the new laws, regulations, etc.?
Yeah, that's big. You know, it's important to stay on the cutting edge. Like myself, there's different training, there's industry events and everything that I personally go to, but you want to be aware of how your advisor is licensed and also what they offer. Because some people are captive, they only offer a certain number of products or investments. My firm being independent, I like to show clients a number of different options from different places tailored to their situation.
I might ask you a question about that in just a moment. Question number 12, call them optimists. According to a survey, 56% of respondents said they were sticking with their retirement plan. No changes despite big losses. Wise or foolish?
Wow, good luck to them. That's all I can say. You know, things change. They really do. You go back to 2020, we have COVID. Nobody was talking about that prior to that. 2022, the stock market was down 20%, bond market around 10%. We had not seen that for a long time. Now we're seeing tariffs and more. What could be coming in the future? You've got to have a proactive retirement plan, not a reactive. So a lot of people, unfortunately, are reactive. You got to be proactive when it comes to planning your life savings and your nest egg.
I consider that another profound statement from you today.
There's a few.
You're just all of them. Question number 13, an annuity is one way to generate guaranteed income in retirement. But if your advisor isn't talking about them, are you potentially missing out?
David, an annuity is nothing more than a retirement planning tool that some people choose to use for some of their money. Does not mean it's right for everybody. But let's think about this. If an advisor says you should never buy an annuity, they have some bias. They're probably a commission broker and don't offer them. On the flip side, if an advisor says you should almost always buy an annuity, they're probably insurance license for life insurance and annuities. Myself, I'm licensed on both sides. So again, is an annuity right for a person? Potentially, but again, it's that retirement planning tool, can be part of the conversation. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't, but it should be something maybe to think about or at least know some of the facts.
Reading between the lines right there, don't go to a salesman for your financial advice. My words, not his. Question number 14, let's keep it going with the A word. Having one doesn't mean it's an either or option when it comes to retirement, does it?
Not at all. You know, a lot of people that I work with and meet with, they've got investments in the stock market. We want to make sure you have a balanced and diversified plan based on your goals, specifically with investments in the market, which might be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Annuities could be part of that. Also money in the bank, and then other potential investment options. Things are changing, things are evolving. Think about how much things have changed, whether it's a world of finance or medicine or anything in the last 2 to 5 years. They're always evolving. That's why it can be important to have a conversation.
Absolutely. Final question of 15 and 15. Let's talk about family recipes. They go down generation to generation. You keep passing them on. They stay in that family. When it comes to wealth transfer to your heirs, how can that process go smoother?
Well, with planning in advance, because the old saying, the best time to plant a tree, that was 20 years ago. The next best time right now. Same with wealth transfer. In my opinion, everybody should have a will. And a lot of people, if you're watching this, probably should think about some of the potential benefits of a trust. But sooner is better than later. You don't want to do it in your later years. So a lot of people, it can be advantageous maybe in their 50s, 60s, early 70s. But that's a conversation to have. And I love talking about that when people come to my office.
Favorite family recipe?
Oh boy, got to be steak on the grill on a Saturday night watching Husker football.
I'm coming over for that. Mike Riedmiller, great information. That's it for 15 and 15. More to come. But first, for those looking to make sure they're on track for their retirement, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you right now. For the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your next steps to really get ready for retirement. The number to call, 402-791-6177. If the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back.
You wouldn't want to walk onto the field for a big game without a game plan. And if you're lucky enough to make it to the postseason, there better be a strategy in place. Well, retirement is the postseason, and we need to have a game plan. Mike, this is, of course, where you come in. Walk us through this. I think you are the perfect coach. As we take the field, what should be top of mind when it comes to our offense? Talk investments and growth specifically.
It really comes down to investment planning, also some income planning, but specific with investments. Want to make sure we have that opportunity for growth, but without taking too much risk, especially with some of this volatility that we're seeing in the stock market.
All right, we know that defense wins games, right?
Yes.
Okay, you just talked about risk for a second. I want to talk market volatility. Hot topic right now. It's up, it's down, it's all around. When you're 55 plus, what do you need to know from a strategy standpoint?
The way that a person should be investing, and whether they're 55 or older, is different than when they were in their 20s or 30s. Back then, 20s, 30s, even 40s, it's all about growth and accumulation. You're coming up on retirement or already retired, you've got to have some layers and levels of protection built in different investments, at least for some of the portfolio, than what you had decades before.
All right, Coach, I'm going to have you progress us through this game. All right, and as we do, I should point out, communication is, of course, the key to success on the field. Third quarter game plan, our offense, income planning, and growth. You talk about this a lot.
I do, because in retirement, the bills keep coming in.
Yeah.
Nothing profound there, but some people maybe not aware of something they overlook. But you want to have higher income than expenses. The more income, the better, from multiple sources. And then also that planning process. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a unique situation. You do not want a one-size-fits-all approach.
All right. I want to talk defense, specifically tax strategies. So important and yet so frequently overlooked when you're on the field. At this stage in the game, what do we need to know?
Well, with taxes, a lot of people are not aware that this could be one of the biggest expenses they have in retirement. There are solutions out there and some strategies that could potentially reduce their future tax liability, but we've got to be proactive with that.
Biggest mistake you see people make at this stage of the game in retirement?
Taking on too much risk with their investments and not thinking about tax strategies for right now and especially down the road.
Let's keep moving through this game, if
All
you'd
right.
be so kind.
I love this, Mallory.
All right,
I feel
me
like I'm at
too.
Memorial.
I know. I'm just waiting for a football to come right at me.
I know. I feel like I'm at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln right now on the 50-yard line. I love it.
I bet you've been there many times.
I have.
Okay,
yes.
fourth quarter game plan, our offense, income planning, protection, growth, and legacy planning. Also important. Let's go there.
You want a customized plan based on your goals and values, not a cookie cutter approach. Look, Wall Street has a plan for our money, but it might not be in our best interest, especially as we're coming up on retirement or already retired, especially with everything happening in the markets.
Okay, defense at this stage in the game, we have to talk long-term care. This is a tough conversation to have at times, but one that needs to be had, right?
Mallory, long-term care costs can be one of the biggest expenses people have, especially in the future. I think long-term care costs will probably be increasing in the future. I don't think many people think they'll be decreasing. So if somebody's watching right now, if they're in their late 50s or 60s, they might not need long-term care maybe until their 80s or beyond. Well, think about what the cost could be in 15, 20, 25, 30 years. So this has got to be part of the planning process because, yes, defense wins championships.
Forward thinking, as always, Mike. Toggle through one more time for me, if you'd be so kind. We just had to find ourselves right here at a touchdown. Before we go, how important is it that this plan, this strategy works together to win the game?
It's very important, from investment planning, income planning, looking at tax strategies, also with long-term care, future costs, all of this together. It starts with that casual conversation, goals-based and values-based planning.
A touchdown for sure. Mike, thank you so much. Certainly appreciate it. And more to come here on the Finance Report. But first, for you at home, if you want to make sure your retirement game plan is on point, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and your number, and the team will call you back.
Great information today, and before we go, I know you have something for our viewers at home.
I do, and I'm really excited about this. For the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, I'd like to invite you into the office where the team will sit down with you personally and help you create your very own retirement plan. If the lines are busy, please leave a voicemail and I will commit to calling you back.
Once again, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has an offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan.
This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your next steps to really get ready for retirement. The number to call, 402-791-6177. If the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back.